I'm 17F, a high school student. I moved to California 7 months ago for my further studies. It was hard to convince my parents, but in the end, they had to surrender on one condition: that I have to stay at a hostel and school of their choice. I was on cloud 9 when I saw my school. I had heard about this school from a common friend, and according to her, it was one of the best schools in California. I got a nice, spacious room in the hostel. The first day away from my parents was hard to spend, but soon I started enjoying my freedom. Now I could do whatever I wanted. I had no one to scold me for staying awake till midnight or having my favorite snacks in my bed. It was like a dream. And that is why I'm here today, filling you up on my situation, which never in my life had I thought I would be facing. And who turned my life into a living hell. Mancy, F, my roommate. She is the kind of girl no one would ever want to live with or even have a friendship with. She is such a bossy person and always orders people around her. She thinks that everyone should obey her, and we are all her servants. I don't know what I did to deserve her. I still remember how she was yelling at her mother when she entered the hostel because she didn't want to live there. I immediately felt bad for her parents. I won't say I didn't try to build a good relationship with her. Since the very first day she entered my life, I remember only one thing: how she tried her level best to put me down instead of building a healthy roommate relationship. I remember how I tried to talk to her when we were having dinner at the dining table with other girls, but she didn't look interested at all, rolled her eyes, and left her seat. The next day, when I was watching something on my phone patiently, she threw my blanket off my bed because she couldn't find her notebook. When I tried to help her, she pushed me back instead and called me clingy. Sometimes I think she has some multiple personality disorder, because later, she apologized for her behavior. But her behavior hasn't changed at all. She still sometimes makes a big fuss about little things. She is just getting on my nerves. The only time I'm calm and relaxed is when I'm with Melissa, F, my only best friend here. She listens to my non-stop complaints about my roommate and supports me. We spend most of our time in the cafeteria and sometimes in her room. We avoid spending time in our room because of my terrible roommate. Once Melissa came to my room, and Mancy fought with her because she was sitting on her chair, which she misunderstood as mine. Mancy insulted her and said really bad things to her. Since then, I don't invite her to my room anymore. The main matter of concern for me now is that she is using her knowledge of my likings and dislikes for her own benefit. For instance, she purposely wears perfumes of woody and strong scents because she knows I'm allergic to them. Sometimes she would yell at me in front of everyone at school, especially in front of Jack, M, because she knew I liked him. She read my diary. She always troubles me by doing these things, always poking around in my life. Luckily, we didn't study in the same section. Otherwise, it would have been worse. Mancy is not just an arrogant girl but also a bully. Last week, she tortured a poor little girl. We were walking past the cafeteria and there was a girl sitting on the chair, with some students consoling her and trying to make her stop crying. Her clothes were all dirty with ink on them. It looked like somebody had poured ink on her. And that somebody was none other than Mancy. I couldn't help but ask her about it. When the girl was done sobbing, she told us that my evil roommate had ordered her to bring a burger for her. Maybe the girl was a junior, which made Mancy see her as easy prey. When the girl refused to do anything for my roommate, she lost her temper and sprayed ink on the innocent girl. Except for a few boys, there was no one in the cafeteria, and those boys were busy playing video games, so they didn't notice anything. My roommate then abused her and left the cafeteria. We decided to complain about this to the principal, but when we reached the office, we saw my roommate sitting outside the office. One of our teachers in first aid was also there. Mancy had bruises on her right arm and was crying. We were all in deep shock. No one had ever thought that she could even hurt herself by playing the victim. We all knew her as an arrogant bully, but this was our first time seeing her as a cunning person. I knew that it would be a waste of time to go to the principal, but Melissa insisted. And I was right. My clever roommate was able to convince the principal that it wasn't her who started the fight. After all, she had strong evidence her injury. She even told the principal that we girls bully her and make fun of her. We all felt so helpless. It is Mancy who bullies people, yells at them, makes them do her assignments, and tortures her roommate. What surprised me the most was that when my roommate came back to our room with 2 of her bootlickers, she seemed all fine and was laughing her heart out as if nothing had happened. It made me so frustrated to see her. I couldn't bear her voice, let alone her laugh. She looks at me with a wicked smile on her face whenever she talks to me. I know that she wants me to know that she is the real boss here and no one can beat her. What is more frustrating is that I'm not as lucky as others. Because they can at least stay peaceful in their room, not unlike me who has to deal with her nuisance even after school. I'm hoping to stay away from her as much as possible and stay in Melissa's room more to avoid any useless argument with her, but I don't think things are going to be any better after all that she has done at school. Update 1. Every day with Mancy is getting worse now. I know I haven't been keeping you guys updated about my turbulent life. It's because the last few days were really tough for me to cope with. Every day, new drama is happening in my life, all because of my evil roommate. If all those were not enough, Mancy was made the head girl of the school. I don't know what magic she had done on the teachers that she was made one. I mean, yeah, she is the captain of the basketball team and vice captain of the soccer team, but she is quite dumb in studies. I mean, there are other girls who are smarter, more intelligent, and more disciplined than her, for instance. Me. I have been participating in most of the curriculum and am good at my studies too. Mancy's tortures knew no bounds after becoming the head girl. She insulted many girls, including Melissa, for wearing lipstick to school even when Mancy herself wore makeup, but she rubbed it off before the assembly, and we all knew that she was going to get her makeup done again. Her bossy behavior has been at its peak lately. Next Saturday, our school is hosting an annual function. I have given my name as a contestant because I thought it would be a good opportunity to show off my paintings, but yesterday I got to know that my name was removed from the list. I know Mancy did this because the girls who are handling the lists of contestants are Mancy's minions. She not only got my name removed but also all the names of other students who she dislikes. For all the activities, she chose only her friends and those who tolerated her bossy behavior. When I asked her why she did that, she laughed and called me an attention seeker. She literally questioned my worth and told me that I was not a deserving contestant, which is why she removed my name from the list. According to my dominating roommate, nobody would want to see my paintings. Melissa suggested that I participate in dance because she and her BF were also participating in it. When I reached out to Mancy for nominations, she said I can apply for dance, but for that, I must have a partner with me. Melissa suggested that I should ask Jack to be my partner. Melissa overheard it, and before I could ask him anything, she asked Jack to dance with her for the annual function. Jack is a little introverted and he has asked Mancy for some time to think about it. I'm still hoping that he will reject her proposal because I have noticed him staring at me multiple times. I'm getting chills just at the thought of seeing both of them dancing. Update 2. I was hoping that Jack would reject Mancy's request as I mentioned in my last update. But it turned out into something else. Actually, Mancy didn't ask him for it. She told him that it is the teachers who have decided the pairs and that is why Jack has to accept the request. Seeing both of them dancing kills me. She gives me a sneer every time they are dancing. I have tolerated her enough. I feel helpless because I know that I can't do anything about this. 3 days ago, when I was studying and Mancy was getting ready to go to Jack's place for dance rehearsal, she asked me to pass her lip gloss. I knew she wanted to make me jealous, but I did not want to show her that it was her victory. They were just a dance couple and nothing more than that. So, I passed the lip gloss to her and started asking her about how her dance rehearsal was going, etc. She was speaking with much enthusiasm in her voice. Although it was killing me from the inside, I showed no reaction on my face. I was just smiling. When she left, I kept thinking about what they would do. What if Jack started liking her? This thought was actually killing me from the inside. I believe I have lost Jack before actually having him. My terrible roommate stole him from me. Speaking of stealing, I want to tell you guys something else. This is something that is bothering me a lot. My belongings are disappearing, I don't know where. First, it was my super expensive handbag that I purchased after saving money for almost 8 months. At first, I thought I must have kept it in Melissa's room as I took it there to show her, but after checking her room it wasn't there. I reported this to the warden but haven't received any fruitful results yet. It started with my bag, but soon a number of my other things also started disappearing, including my clothes and makeup. Of course, I suspect Mancy of stealing my belongings because no one else comes to our room other than Mancy and her minions, not just me. I have heard that a lot of other girls at our hostel are losing their stuff. I don't know about others, but for my things, I suspect Mancy. Update 3, it was Mancy. My gut felt bang on target. It was Mancy who was stealing my stuff and all. Remember how Jack and Mancy used to go for rehearsals in the evening and I used to cry in my bed for hours? One such evening after she left the room, I found her wardrobe keys lying under the bed. I guess it slipped while she was stuffing it inside her bag. She barely forgets it, but today she was so busy making me jealous that nothing else mattered to her at all, so she forgot to take her keys with her. That stealing thing came to mind, and I got curious. I knew that it wasn't the right thing to do, but my curiosity was at its peak, so much so that I couldn't stop myself. I opened her wardrobe. It was the messiest wardrobe I had seen in my entire life. Her clothes were stinking, they were dirty. But that's not what I was interested in. After digging through her dirty clothes, I found my missing bag, some of my missing clothes, and some of my makeup items. So Mancy was indeed a thief, apart from all her titles of being a bully and arrogant girl. But trust me, I wasn't shocked at all because, deep down in my heart, I knew that it was her. I was thinking about why, on earth, she was chosen to be my roommate and how low she could stoop. I searched every other place but didn't find anything else. Then I locked her wardrobe, threw the key on the bed, and left it as it was. I called Melissa and told her how Mancy had crossed all the limits. I wanted to expose Mancy, but we could not think of any idea. If we showed Mancy's wardrobe to the warden, she would just say that I had planted those stolen items there and was framing her. Melissa suggested that I just take out my stuff from her wardrobe before she comes back and later we would figure out the revenge. My bag and the makeup item were so expensive I just couldn't afford to lose it. I pulled it back secretly. I wanted to leave the school. At that moment, I really wanted to run from the hostel, but where could I go? I don't know anyone here. Melissa said that we would figure out something, and for that moment I have to just calm myself down. I was broken completely and didn't know what to do. I was thinking about my hometown and wanted to go back. All these were keeping me so stressed that I was not able to focus on my studies. Looking at my depression, Melissa forced me to talk to the warden about the incident. She wanted me to complain to the warden about Mancy. I wasn't the only person who hated her. Everyone in the school except her crawler wanted her to leave the school. We both knew that many students had complained about Mancy's behavior, but every time she defended herself, stating that she was the head girl of the school and students didn't like her, so they made false allegations against her. I knew nothing would happen to her and she would get away with her evilness. So, I didn't complain to the warden about it. I want to expose her true colors to the teachers, but I'm just not able to come up with any plan. Update 4, you know what, Mancy is finally out of my room and I couldn't be happier. That day I discovered my items in her wardrobe, and I took it out from there. Mancy didn't realize that I had taken it back. 2 days passed but she didn't say anything about it. Probably she was too busy rehearsing her dance moves with Jack. Melissa and I came up with a plan to trigger Mancy and then secretly record her obnoxious behavior. So, on the third day, I placed my phone on the bookshelf, hiding it between the books, opposite Mancy's wardrobe. Melissa was with me in the room. When Mancy entered, she immediately got infuriated that Melissa was sitting on her bed. Melissa apologized but Mancy went full-blown on her, so the bully part of her was captured. Next was about her theft. I pulled out the bag from my wardrobe and all those missing tops that I found from Mancy's wardrobe the other day and showed them to Melissa. I was like, see, what did I find? When Melissa asked me where I found that missing stuff, I simply looked at Mancy. Mancy's face turned pale and she started abusing me. She started yelling that how could I call her a thief and all that. I said because she was a thief and stole others' belongings. She kept abusing me but I didn't back out. Mancy lost her mind and opened her wardrobe and started throwing all the stolen items and dared me that I couldn't do anything about it. She was like, yeah, I have all these clothes and makeup of you poor chicks and what are you going to do about me? She mocked me and triggered, do you want to complain? Do you want to complain? Go ahead and complain. You chicks cannot do anything. Remember who's the boss here. She became so aggressive that at one point in time, her face was almost touching my nose. Melissa had opened her Instagram Live when Mancy was throwing all the stolen on my face and was charging at me. When Mancy realized that she was being recorded, she tried to snatch the phone from Melissa and their scuffle also went live. Melissa stopped the recording but by then the damage was already done. Besides, we had the full video of the incident getting recorded through my phone. Mancy was still shouting and cursing us when her phone started buzzing. Her friends were calling to tell her that she was caught on Instagram Live and that so many had seen it. Melissa went out to call the warden because we knew Mancy was not going to spare us. We were right, Mancy became monstrous and hurled such abuses and assaults on me that I could have never imagined. By then, Melissa arrived with the warden. I took my phone from the bookshelf and showed the full recordings to the warden. Mancy was so infuriated that I had recorded her all these while that she tried to snatch the phone from the warden's hand. The warden rebuked her and put her in place. I told the warden that I was going to involve my parents and the police if required if she didn't take any action. I played the same dirty of playing the victim in front of the warden. I was crying and insisted that I would directly show this to the principal if she didn't report Mancy. The warden took all three of us with her to the principal's office. I kept crying the whole time. I'm sure Mancy would have also used her tears to get away with her wrongdoings, but this time she was caught big time and she could no longer use tears to fake it. The principal saw the video and called both of our parents on the next day and he instructed the warden to change the room for Mancy. Mancy yelled in front of the principal that she was not going to move to another room because her friends lived in the adjacent rooms. So, I requested that my room be changed. I can live anywhere except with that wicked girl. The warden changed my room but also scotched Mancy for her behavior. There was a lot of drama and it would take forever for me to write all those in detail. So, in brief, the warden went back to Mancy's room and checked her wardrobe. She found a lot of missing items reported by the other girls. I was packing my belongings when all this happened. You won't believe what happened next. When my parents met with the principal and saw the video, they blamed the management and the warden for not taking of the children's safety. My dad was like he was going to call the police right away, but the principal somehow stopped it. Meanwhile, Mancy's parents didn't take her side and stood quiet. This angered Mancy and she started yelling at her mother in front of everyone that they were not taking her side like my parents were taking mine. She only got silent when the principal threatened to suspend her from the school. Her father at last spoke that Mancy was a sports person, so it is natural for her to be a little aggressive and she brings the aggression of the field in the house. The warden asked them to seek counseling for her because it is not healthy or natural to torture others. She was indeed a bully and nothing else. The principal asked Mancy's parents to take her home for a few days until he handled the other matters. The principal told me and Melissa that we shouldn't have posted on Instagram and that I should complain to the authorities. I told him that no actions had been taken on Mancy earlier, so I didn't complain and instead chose this route. He didn't say anything further, but we were also not applauded for our bravery. The principal and the warden were concerned that it would damage the reputation of the school and the dorm. So they held me and Melissa equally responsible for damaging the reputation, although they didn't tell us anything. Mancy is going through her suspension period. It is still not sure if she will continue to be the head girl or not. The annual function is also next week. Jack has also moved out from the dance program because Mancy is not there. Melissa asked me to join Jack as the partner, but I don't want to make a fool of myself by going to the stage without sufficient practice. 90% of the rehearsals are over, so I don't intend to join midway. I don't know what is going to happen when Mancy returns from her suspension period. I'm definitely not hoping that she will mend her ways. She is definitely going to hunt me down, but this time I'm prepared for this. The best part is, I don't have to see her face day and night. We'll update if anything develops. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Stepmom repeatedly lied and refused to take me and my sister home until my mom threatened to call the cops. This happened in 2009, when I was 15 and my sister was 11. I honestly don't remember it well. I had to call my mother to fill me in on some details, and it helped a little. My parents got divorced when I was 10. My mother got primary custody, but we stayed with my father for about 3 days a week, sometimes more. They took turns celebrating the holidays with us. We'd spend them with one parent in 1 year, and with the other one the next. In March 2009, my father and his then girlfriend Molly broke up after he confessed to cheating with the woman that eventually became SM. Years later, I found out that affair had been going on for almost 2 years by the time he told Molly. He introduced SM to us in May, on my birthday, actually, and they almost immediately announced their engagement. From that moment, she started trying to force us all to be a happy blended family, which usually meant forcing us to do everything she, or sometimes my stepbrother, wanted and pretending my mom wasn't in the picture. SM and my dad started pushing her to leave us with them a lot more often than my parents had previously agreed, but she thankfully wouldn't budge. We started getting ready for the holidays in November, and SM started talking about a ski resort, hotel? I don't know, it was 14 years ago, that she wanted to visit with us. It was a 3-hour car drive from where we lived and was clearly more suited for couples, younger children or the elderly. Neither me or my sister actually wanted to go, but before we could say that, SM asked us when we'd be done with school so that she could book it for a 2-week trip during our winter break. I was happy to be the one to break it to her. We'd spent Christmas and New Year's Day with my father and Molly the year before, so it was my mom's turn to have us. My father and SM called my mother dozens of times to try to convince her to let them take us, insisting that SM was excited to spend Christmas with us and that the previous year's holidays didn't count because we'd spent them with Molly. My mom said no, as she'd already made plans, and the subject was dropped for a few weeks. Then, on our last day of school before winter break, SM picked me and my sister up from our schools. That was fine. We were supposed to spend a couple days with my father before the holidays. What wasn't fine was that the moment we got into her car, SM said, "We're going to the ski resort." Surprise. She proceeded to tell us that they'd already packed our bags for us, and Dad would meet us there. I asked if my mom knew about this, and she said, "Sure," but I knew that was a lie. I also didn't believe her when she said we'd only be there for a couple of days and would be back before Christmas. I figured they'd booked the 2-week stay they wanted and would probably guilt trip us both into staying once their couple of days were up. I was terrified. I didn't have a phone. My mom thought I was still too young to have one, didn't trust SM, and I could see my sister was even more scared. I told SM we didn't want to go. She said, "Fine. Let's just pick stepbrother up from school." We picked him up from school. SM said, "Okay, now let's go to the resort." I said, again, that we didn't want to go. She said, "Fine. Let's just find a gas station and fill up." That pattern repeated itself about 6 times over the next hour. Every time I said we didn't want to go, SM would make up an excuse and pretend to forget my plea. As we were about to leave town, my dad called SM. I heard them fight for a few minutes about something, and then she hung up. Stepbrother asked her what happened, but she didn't answer. Then, she said, "I'm taking you kids to your mom's." She turned the car around and took us home. When we got there, my mom pulled us out of the car and screamed at SM to leave, which she did. My mom was hugging us and bawling as if she hadn't seen us in years. She didn't tell me the full story until a few days later. Basically, my mom called my dad in panic because he'd never told her we'd gotten home, which he always did whenever he picked us up from school. He was hoping she wouldn't call until we were already at the resort. My father knew that lying would do more harm than good, so he told her their plans. He tried to spin it around as something my sister wanted, but my mother didn't buy it. She told him that if SM didn't take us back to her place, she'd call the police. My father and SM took my stepbrother to the resort. For a few months after, they bragged about all the fun they had, and all the things me and my sister had missed. Stepbrother later confided in me that he actually hated it. He barely saw his mom while they were there, and he spent Christmas mostly alone in their room. SM called us both selfish for trying to ruin their holidays. My sister actually felt guilty for a while, and I had to reassure her. My mom didn't call the cops or press charges. At the time, she didn't know if what SM did would qualify as a crime, or if they'd actually help. She also feared that would ruin our relationship with my father, with whom she was still trying to stay on amicable terms. Years later, she told me she regretted not calling anyone. And that's the story of how I got my first phone. For some reason, I really hate this story. So much that I avoid talking about it. This text was actually on my drafts for almost a week. It's far from the worst thing SM has ever done, but it still pisses me off. I admit that writing it all down did help a little, though. Wow, what an itch, bae. And your dad wasn't any better. How's your relationship with them now?